Gentlemen, welcome back to the mess, which is my desk. And I'm just getting the keyboard out of the way because I'm super excited. In fact, I need to clear my desk off so I can share this with you. Sorry, as you know, in my desk is always a mess. Okay, this is the new DW Hobby Wing, which turned up on Banggood a couple of weeks back. And they literally sold out in next to no time, and of the pusher version. So that's where you've got the motor on the back, which you may be able to see up on that screen there. Now, they'd sold out of those, so I went and bought this one, and I've been and checked the tracking number. This is the one which I bought out of my own money. I just want to stress that one. This is not a freebie for review, and this is the EDF version which we're going to be looking at. Now, those of you which are interested in the tail pusher version, I actually got in contact with Banggood and said, look, I can see you're offering these up for review. Any chance you can send me one? I am a bit of a wing nut. And by the way, those of you which have seen any of the videos on my channel, you know that I rag the nuts out of all my flying wings. So they agreed to, and they've sent me the tail pusher version. And to be frankly honest, I'm really glad that the EDF version is being turned up first, because remember, I paid this out of my own money for this one, and I'll honestly tell you if I think it's not very good. I was trying not to swear then. Now, my comparison for this is going to be the Turnigy Bonsai. So let me just give you an example, because I don't have just one in my office. To give you an idea, I've got another one. I am having to hunt around the office to find them because they're here hiding. So let me just put this into perspective for you. I do fly a lot of wings. Now, my sincere hope for me, and especially you, that this new wing, because it's cheaper, is going to be a better and cheaper option for you than the Turnigy Bonsai. And by the way, this is my muck around one, normally flown with a 2S battery. This is my mental one, which we caught at 144 miles an hour coming out of a massive dive. And by the way, that's an Emax 2600 kb motor. And that's the spare one for when I break either of these two. And you can see how much I thrashed them by the state of that one there. So let me move these out of the way. And as you can already tell, I'm a bit of a flying wing fanatic. So I have not opened up this box, it's still sealed. Let's go and see what we've got inside. I'm going to have to cut that a bit more, aren't we? Brilliant. Let's open her up. That's well stuck down. Right, let's stick that in the filing cabinet, aka bin. Right, so what did we say on the front of here? And apologies, I've got a steel ruler on my desk. So what does it say? Rainbow Fly Wing, Chinglish, specifications, 800 millimeters, so 80 centimeters. So it should be, it's about the same size as the Bonsai, give or take. The Bonsai's, what's it, 60, something like that. This is the EDF Plus version. We don't have a motor, an ESC or servos included in this package, which you wouldn't expect for right now on Banggood. It's £13 or so, so super cheap. Nothing else on the box, so let's go and get her open. And I am just going to make sure that we still are recording. Yeah, happy days. Let's go and get her open. Right, there we go. That's my version of an unboxing. Right, something smells in here, like not a bad smell, just smells odd. Okay, so that I'm going to put that up against my screen. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, that it is a cutout. And what is this? Oh, it's a plywood. It's definitely a plywood, and I'll take a photograph of that as well so you can see what it is. And yeah, it's been laser cut. Yeah, something does smell odd in here, like a very plasticky smell, but yeah, very, very cool, very well cut, pretty strong, excellent. We've got some instructions, and by the way, to help you, I will take photographs of the plane and the instructions which come with this. And by the way, if you've just picked this up, I'm just very quickly looking for C of G. I will put the C of G writing on the bottom of the screen for you, just in case you found this video and just want to know the C of G on it. So it's the same again as what it said on there. It suggests that 1404 2900 kV motor. Yeah, that's for the tail push version. The ducted version, it's suggesting an EDF 30. Oh, sorry guys, I don't have one of those. I have, what do I have on my desk? I have a 50 millimeter EDF. That's a 60. I've got a 70. Yeah, look at the size of that. Look at the size of that. And we have hyperdrive. Now, I kid you not, my challenge is to get the 72 millimeter, which runs on 5S, by the way, and I've got some smaller 5S batteries, and fit this on this wing. So this is going to be like a little mini series of going through the extremities. So I will start with the 50. It's a Dr. Matt Thrust 50 EDF. I will be starting with that one because that's the smallest one which I've got. And then we are going to turn it into a raw ripping EDF version with a completely overpowered EDF unit. And by the way, I bet that frame will not be able to hold up for that size motor, so I'll have to do some adaptations or adapting to make it fit. So let me move those out of the way for you. Yeah, so pretty stock standard, nice pictures, very, very well printed. Yeah, nice and straightforward. It's good video. Oh, look, the Elevon rod shafts are going to be like a carbon fiber rod with the bits glued on, which is very similar to the Turnigy Bonsai. I can tell you already, I do not like the look of their push horns, the actual servo horns for up here. I don't like the look of those. I'll probably end up using my own. And also, yeah, there's the tail push version. Have they got the EDF version in here? They do. Ah, look, that looks like, let's see if you can see that on there. It looks like they're expecting us to fit the EDF in the back. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do that. Oh, and the C of G is 110 millimeters from the leading edge, or from the very nose. Okay, so if you're looking for the C of G, and like I said, I'll take some photos of this and include it at the end of this video for you too. So that's enough of the boring instructions. Let's have a look to see what we've got. And so let's go and get her open. Brilliant. Oh, there is a bag which has come with this. What have we got in here? We've got, what have we got in here? Okay, we've got two. That looks like carbon fiber push rod. Yeah, I don't even need to get the multimeter out to tell you that that's carbon fiber. Just by the noise of it, I can tell that's carbon fiber. Yeah, it looks like carbon fiber. We've got a flat plate there, which obviously I should have read the instructions more. And yeah, I can tell you immediately, I will not be using these to be their little horns. Okay, and the reason why I won't be using them is because I already know that I'm going to be going to mental levels with this model. So what I'm going to do in the video description underneath for you, I'll put a link to some alternative horns for you to use. They cost about £2 sterling. Okay, so that's probably like $3 or something like that at the moment with the currency exchange rate. And they're really, really good, and they come in packs of 10. And to be honest, you'll find out in a couple of days when the mail comes in that I've already been and bought another 30 of each of them as well myself. So yeah, I won't be using these because they are far too small, and those actually, they feel nice and strong. By the way, with the little metal rods, you sometimes get these horrible cheap ones, and I unboxed the I unboxed the Mini Skywalker, and I recently literally just been and built it, and the little push rods which I got with it were just so bendy. And yeah, I'm here bending it, and apologies, I've got black marker pen over my hands because I'm doing a slope soaring wing build at the moment. And yeah, that's nice and strong. It's probably only about 1 millimeter or 1.2 mils still, but that feels like a good rod, so we'll be keeping that one. And we get a bit of heat shrink, and let me just make a point, let me just prove that to you that it really is carbon fiber. If I grab the multimeter out, and by the way, you can easily test this if you've got a multimeter. And let me prop this up. Let me prop it up against the hyperdrive unit for you. Is that if you've got a multimeter, glass fiber does not conduct electricity, whereas carbon fiber does. So I've got the multimeter on here. I'm going to jab it there. There you go. I said it was carbon fiber. Yeah, a couple of ohms. Brilliant. So the looks like 1 by 5 mil rod. Sheet strip, which we've got here is carbon fiber, and yes, that's carbon fiber as well. Okay, let me just make a point. It's not me shorting it out. Yeah, it's about 10 ohms. Yeah, brilliant. So it is carbon fiber. So they haven't skimped and given us some rubbish glass fiber. We've actually got carbon fiber pieces, which is the kind of information which I would want to know if I was in your position. So no apologies for getting the multimeter out and testing that. And I'm going to pop these back in the bag, otherwise they really will get lost in the mess, which is my desk. So we'll pop those over there and move the hyperdrive out of the way. Now on for the wing. Let's start with the outsides. 2 straightforward winglets. By the way, I already know that when I glue these on, I will be putting lots and lots of goop glue over these. And let me just go and grab a tube, because I feel this is really important to share with you, because goop glue enables us to fly our models harder for longer, because it makes them rubberized. Grab that out of the toolbox. Yeah, goop glue. That stuff, it's not cheap. It's about £10 a tube, about $15 USD a tube, and it absolutely reeks. But where's the bonsai? That one. This one has taken an absolute beating, because I've been and put goop glue all the way along the leading edge, and you can see the piece which I forgot to goop glue. It's always these front corners which take a beating. And the goop glue helps the model stay together, so it literally just hits the ground and bounces. And I've made other videos on creating flying wings which just bounce when you crash them. So coming back, little winglets. Like I said, I'll end up putting lots and lots of goop glue on those. Let's move these out of the way. Okay. What's going on here? Sorry, this is me just working out what's going on. Right, so there's our wing. Now, this is really peculiar. Let me grab the bonsai, let me just to show you, and put the bonsai on top. You'll see that, yeah, the wing sweep isn't so harsh compared to the bonsai. It's a much bigger wing, and it's got less of a sweep. I think that's the correct term for it. And you'll see that the motor, this one's dug right back in there. There's a huge chunk missing from there. So yeah, getting your C of G right is going to be super important with that one. So yeah, I need to go careful with that, and I've already identified in my head that I need to go careful with that. Right, where's my big tape measure? Already here on the desk. So is it really 88 centimeters? No, it's 800, which is correct. Now, in old money, that's 31.5 inches wingspan, and probably from tip down to the back of the aileron or elevon is also about 13.5 inches, which is in new money 34 centimeters. So to join us together, let's have a quick look. Oh, what's on the bottom? Oh, me likey a lot. They've already been put a carbon fiber rod. In fact, that looks like a, by the way, this is my model, so I'm going to hack this up so you don't have to. I'm just going to put a knife down the edge to see what they've really been put in here. So let me have a quick, yeah. That looks like a 4 mil by 1 mil carbon strip. they've been and put down the front or the on the leading edge. And again, you need that support in there because when you bash into trees and whatever else, you need that extra support in there. Okay, so looking at the wing and the actual EPP, the EPP molding is very good. I mean, like, there's no holes in here. The paint job on it is nice and sharp. Let me just look on the back. That's one wing. Let's have a look at the bottom of the other wing. Yeah, there's no real big, there's one little bit there. Yeah, one tiny little nodule, which, like I said, this is for me, so I am being very particular. Yeah, one tiny little bit I had on that wing, which is very, very good. There's no rough cuts on here. Sometimes on the cheaper models, you get where they've been hot wired out, you end up with this little crappy lip on the front, if you excuse the term. But there's none of that on here at all. And the elevons, wow, they feel. And by the way, I'm already pushing the living daylights out of these. Yeah, they feel good. That is a really nice hinge. Again, I'm going to use the bonsai as a reference. There's a bonsai with goop glue on, and there's a bonsai without goop glue on, and these hinges, they break very, very easily within crash landings. And you'll see on my super fast, my mental bonsai, is that I've run a very thin layer of goop glue all the way along the hinge, and that helps them support. But do you know what? I think this is going to be like your first model or EPP model where I don't put goop glue down the hinge. All right, I'm mighty impressed. So quickly going back to look at the instructions, because before I look at those, what I'm thinking is that extra bit of carbon fibre which we've been given is that I'd put it through the middle of the join rather than down the centre. So what do they say in here? Yeah, there you go. Glue together 2 rings and insert a carbon sheet on the back as reinforced. So normal Chinglish, but you kind of get the idea because the photos in here are very, very good. Now, I can also tell you, give you a heads up, I won't be using the small 3.6 or 5 gram servos because what I'm going to be doing with this wing is not normal. So I'll be putting the Tower Pro 9 gram, or actually they're 12 gram, metal geared servos in here. And yes, that does mean I'll need to dig them out a little bit more. But to be honest, they only cost like like £1. Not even that, like 60p more than the smaller ones. They may even be cheaper depending on the brand which you buy. But the Tower Pro, I think it's the MSG 390 or whatever it is. I'll put a screenshot up on the screen for you and a link to the servos underneath this video. And they're absolutely brilliant. I'm trying to use them in all my new models because they are so good. So we won't be using baby servos, we'll be using decent servos in here. Because like I said, I thoroughly intend to rag the living daylights out of this one. And I may even mod it just to put a carbon rod all the way along the elevons, just to give her an extra bit of strength. So let me grab my seat back. So first impressions of the Rainbow, or the DW Hobby Rainbow 80 centimeter wing. I like it. Remember, I paid for this one out of my own pocket. I'll do a separate unboxing and review of the pusher version, but I can already tell you I like it. My only concern right now, okay, is the irony is that I've got to fit that on there somehow and get a 5S battery underneath. I'll have to do that later on after I've at least flown it so that you can see how well or badly this actual model actually flies. Again, this is only very much a preliminary look at this one. I will set this one up with the small 5 centimeter or 50 millimeter EDF unit to begin with. I know this one will, actually, to be honest, this one will probably be overpowered for the model as it is. But with that said, you know me, I like a lot of power. We'll get this undone, glued up, get the motor mounted on there, probably with some cable ties and a little bit of glue just to hold her up there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So with that said, I'd love to know what you think about this new flying wing. It's definitely cheaper than the Bonsai, but so far for quality, the print is brilliant. We've got carbon fiber parts. We've got an Elevon, which I don't even think I need to put goop glue on because it feels really, really good. And I'm here bending the living daylights out of it, and it doesn't feel fragile. Yeah, if there's one thing which I like about this model right now, is that. Because compared to the Bonsais, those Elevons are really weak, and that does not look like it's weak and could definitely handle some mat style flying. So, time for us to wrap up. If you have any questions about this flying wing, please let me know in the comments section underneath this video. Her maiden flight will come in maybe 1 to 2 days time, because the weather here in the UK, especially where I live, is about to get really wet and really windy. So getting her out on a normal maiden, I can't get to until Sunday, I think, and we're on Thursday at the moment. So not good, not looking good for a maiden. That said, I will do a build video for you as well, and I'm really looking forward to getting this one up in the air. So if this model takes your fancy, right now, at the time of recording, it's on special offer at £13.72, which I don't know what that is in dollars. So if you let me click on my screen for you, it's probably not a lot. Oh, $18. There you go. It would cost $18, which is still a fair chunk less than the Turnigy Bonsai. So with that said, if you fancy one, the links to this is underneath in the description. We also remember we do have the normal, in inverted commas, tail pusher version. So it's similar to the Bonsai, on its way to us. It should hopefully be here by me either by tomorrow or earliest of next week. And I will do a separate review of that. But to be frankly honest, I'm super glad this version has turned up, because remember, this is the one which I bought out of my own money, and I will tell you if it's rubbish. But right now, it's those Elevons for me. They look super tough, and the cut on it is very, very good, and so is the print job too. So first impressions, I can't wait to get this in the air. So I'm going to go and get this video edited up for you. Then I'm going to make a build video for you, and then we'll get the maiden done as well. So any questions, any feedback, good, bad, or just plain ugly, please let me know in the comments section underneath this video. So with that said, from myself, Matt, cheerios!